Yo, hey everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review, and today we're going to be doing Batgirl, The Flood. Take a look at this comic cover right here. And let me just say that this trade paperback has some of the best comic book covers that I have ever seen. And you can see of it right there. Great art for the covers. Now, Batgirl, The Flood. It's the second trade that we have with Miss Stephanie Brown as Batgirl. And I stated this before in the first trade, Batgirl Rising, that I really like Stephanie Brown as Batgirl. She's really growing on me. Maybe it's because it's kind of a throwback to what Barbara Gordon as Batgirl. Kind of a little bit more lighthearted, not really working with Batman, but is associated with him. Kind of just on her own. And as much as I liked the other Batgirls, and I do, I absolutely love them. Barbara was awesome from the 60s, 70s to 80s. Cassandra Cain's stories were just so great. There's just something about Stephanie that I like so much. Maybe it's because you grow with Stephanie. It's like when Tim Drake first became Robin. He's not perfect, and Stephanie isn't perfect either. She doesn't have the extreme intellect that Barbara does, and she doesn't have the ridiculous martial arts ability that Cassandra has. She is essentially a work in progress. And I feel as though we work with her. We grow with her. We're part of her life and part of her journey. Sounds kind of corny, but that's kind of how it feels. So, with that said, Batgirl the Flood. Batgirl the Flood is an important trade for Batgirl because although the first trade was good and helped establish Batgirl, it's really kind of the second and third trades that are very important for a comic book character because it cements the character as a good comic. Will Flood be able to pull this off? Well, we're just going to have to read and see. Let's start off with the story. Batgirl the Flood is broken up into 3 stories, but 2 of them are kind of one-shot stories, and the first story is the really main story, the Flood story. Now, Calculator is really pissed off at Oracle. Why? Because Oracle took his daughter from him. There's a lot of backstory going into this, but what you really need to know is Calculator has 2 children, Marv and Wendy, who became Teen Titans. Now, in the Teen Titans comics, Marv was killed and Wendy was paralyzed. Then in Oracle the Cure, Oracle took Wendy from Calculator because, well, Calculator is evil and psychotic. Hence, why Calculator is pissed off at her, because, well, she took his only child that he has left. Not that he really gave any attention to his children, he kind of just let them do whatever, but still, he's kind of pissed off. And he wants to exact revenge on Oracle. So what does he do? He uses technology that was used during Final Crisis to spread the anti-life equation to actually spread his own small little nanites. Now, what these nanites would do is infect people and turn them into techno-zombies. Kind of like the Borg, only not assimilating people. And the only people that really haven't been affected is Batgirl and Oracle, because, well, they kind of had a heads up. I mean, Batman and Robin are fine, but they're often, like, I don't know, Tokyo or somewhere. They're just doing their own thing somewhere else. So, Batgirl needs to protect Oracle. Make sure that Calculator doesn't get his hands on her. But what happens if he does? Calculator and Oracle go into a big struggle. The biggest struggle that either of them could be in. The struggle of the mind. Will Oracle come out of this unscathed? Will Batgirl prove herself as a hero? And, in the end, will Wendy step up to the plate and become a hero herself? Well, you're just going to have to read and see for that story. The other 2 stories are kind of quick one-shots. One of them deals with Clayface, and it's really just Batgirl fighting Clayface. There's no hidden secretness to it. It's just her fighting Clayface, which is actually kind of refreshing. I mean, grand story arcs and nice little tales are fine, but every once in a while, just having that one-shot story of a villain fighting a hero, it's actually kind of fun. And then the second story is a team-up where Batgirl and Supergirl fight Draculas. But they're not real Draculas. They're some kind of copies made from a movie. You're just going to have to read and see. So on to the good, the bad, and whether or not you should get it. Good. Well, I have to say, for the first story, the plot was actually pretty cool and pretty interesting. Nanites used from anti-life equation technology from Darkseid to control people in order to get at Oracle, and only Batgirl and Oracle are the ones unaffected. It's kind of cool. And you know, Calculator's a cool villain. As long as they don't use him too much and oversaturate ourselves with him, he can be used every once in a while and is a great foil for not only Oracle, but also for Batgirl. This also gives us a chance to have a Batgirl story without having the dynamic duo jump in every once in a while. Wendy is also a character that I was a little worried about because I was going to think, oh, she would get paralyzed and that's all that would happen. But actually, Wendy starts to get a little fleshed out, get some character development, and becomes really cool. And I don't want to spoil anything, but she takes up a good position in the Batgirl comic. Which brings me to positions. What I like about this comic is the fact that it has Batgirl and Oracle teaming up together. It feels more like a tag team comic, a team-up comic between the two, than rather just a plain Batgirl comic. And in that, it is nice. Do I see Oracle being a consistent member of this comic? Probably not so much. I see Wendy kind of filling in that void every once in a while. But it's still nice to see the old guard teaching the new guard. And I know that was done with Cassandra Cain, but not to the point that it's being done with Stephanie Brown. So I like that. The art in this is also good too. I don't know how to really explain it. It's not like it's overly detailed art or overly dynamic, but it just fits so well for a Batgirl comic. It had the right shade of colors, the right kind of sketches. It worked well. Is it the absolute best art you'll ever see? No, but like I said, for Batgirl, it fits its purpose, and I'm happy that they're using the artists that they are. The second two stories were okay. Like I said, the Clayface one is more or less just fun for the action. And then the Supergirl one, while incredibly campy and incredibly cheesy, I couldn't help but smile and enjoy myself. I want to see more Batgirl and Supergirl team-ups because, well, they work well together. It would be fun. I know a while back they did a World's Finest kind of collection where they did, you know, Dick Grayson working with Superman, or, you know, Supergirl working with, I don't know, Robin, or Catwoman working with the Guardian or something like that. They had all these random team-ups. They should continue doing that between the Batman universe and the Superman universe. And just not include Superman and Batman. Or at least not as much, because they have, you know, the Batman-Superman comic. Bad. Well, there is a little bit bad to this. The first bad is that the dialogue in the beginning is a little rough. It mellows out a little bit towards the second half of the second issue. So really the first issue is most of the problems, but still going into this comic, if you're a new reader or if that you never experienced Stephanie Brown as Batgirl before, you might get a little discouraged by the dialogue at first. I don't know what it is. It just feels too robotic, for lack of a better term. But again, it does mellow out, but you're going to have to live through a lot of it to actually get that mellowing out. So that is a bad. But besides that, there wasn't all too much bad to this. I guess the only other bad I could come up with is that the Flood story didn't feel as though there was much of a physical threat. I mean, there were some superheroes like, you know, Catwoman and Huntress, and even Man-Bat gets infected by this nanite virus, but I really don't feel as though there was much of a physical threat for Batgirl. When everyone started becoming zombies and swarming them, they just got to higher ground and they were safe. It'd be really cool if the zombies were everywhere and there was nowhere to run. Because, like I said, they felt like there was no threat, at least on that level. There was always still Calculator, but that was on a different level and it wasn't that much of a physical threat. At least not to Batgirl. But like I said, there wasn't too much bad about this. This was a solid, good book. Was it as good as the first Batgirl trade? I would have to say no. Batgirl Rising does do better than this. But to say that this is bad would definitely be a wrong statement. This was good. It was fun. It was enjoyable. And for the $14 that you're going to pay for it, it was well worth it. I hope to see more good stuff from Batgirl, but I do want to see them kind of step up their game a bit. Cool concepts like the Flood story arc was good. What I think they really should do with Batgirl to kind of mix things up to make it a really fun comic is do things that would never be done in Batman comics before. And do them kind of on a momentous level. level. Because, like I said, going into the Flood, I didn't think it was going to be like a zombie, techno-zombie kind of related story. I thought it was literally there was going to be a flood in that Gotham needed to have Batgirl swoop in and help out people. Kind of like a small 4-issue No Man's Land wannabe story. That didn't happen. I feel kind of like an idiot going into the comic thinking that. But with the Batgirl comic, they really need to kind of mix things up a bit and keep this comic going strong. Because, like I said, this is not as good as the first trade, but it's still good. And if they want to continue the comic being good, they need to just push hard. Just because it's Batgirl and it's not Batman doesn't mean the comic can't be good. Because out of all superhero comic book franchises, the Batman universe is the one comic book universe where spin-off comics can be just as good as the originals. Robin, Birds of Prey, Nightwing, you name it, they're just as good as the Batman sometimes. Maybe, I dare say, sometimes better. So like I said, for 14 bucks, it's pretty good pickup, more or less for the first storyline, but the other two aren't that bad either. So with that said, I'm going to end the review here. Oh god, those covers just look really good. This is Andrew saying peace out for now.